All right, so the practice of having sex in public would be a type of exhibitionism. Exhibitionism actually includes more than that, but sex in public is definitely a type of exhibitionism. Now, the practice of having sex in locations that is accessible or visible to the public is frequently regulated by government law, and that law will define accessibility, visibility, and who the public is. Now, Romans 13 verses 1 and 2 is very clear that God ordained the government powers and we are to obey their laws, unless, of course, their laws go against God's law. But God's law doesn't tell us to have sex in public locations or in front of other people, so that's not an issue here. Now, the Bible is very clear that we're forbidden from beholding near relatives and family members naked, whether that's them viewing us or us viewing them, so that would include sexual activity, because you'd be seeing each other naked and so forth. This is in Leviticus 18 verses 6 through 16. The key is in verse 6 where it mentions anyone that is near of kin. The following verses will mention examples of people that are near of kin, but it doesn't necessarily mention everybody that it could that's just as near of kin. And how far out that family goes before it's no longer near of kin, I don't know. I'm going to guess the examples kind of spell that out in terms of the idea. So make sure you keep the idea and don't get stuck on the words. Well, it's my aunt, it doesn't say uncle, that's not going to work. So anyways, back on track, the other thing that we want to keep in mind is that we do not want to tempt other people to sin. Romans 14 verse 13 mentions this. And then you have the example in 2 Samuel 11 verses 2 through 5. Bathsheba, she got a bath on top of the roof and caused David to sin, and there was murder involved, and it was very terrible. So we don't want to break God's law, we don't want to break the government law, and we don't want to tempt our brother to sin. Another thing we want to be careful about is not to judge other people's motives. The reasons for which some people want to do this, it's very different per person. Some people want to get caught, other people don't want to get caught. Some people just enjoy the naughty adrenaline rush from it, other people do it for a sense of adventure. Some people, they just want to get outside the house and have sex out in nature because they feel trapped inside and they're limited and restricted and they don't like that. So there's a lot of different reasons, and so I can't really cover them all. It's going to be dependent on that individual, and if you're one of these people, then you just need to figure out why exactly you have these tastes or preferences and so forth. And the other thing I want to mention is you really, really, really need to look up what the laws are in your area. From what I've read, it seems like the general idea is it is considered exhibitionism if somebody does not have to invade your privacy, like your private property, in order to see you. Like, for instance, if you have sex in your own home, it could be considered exhibitionism, provided that they can clearly see you from the street without having to come on your property and go up and look into your window like this. If they have to do that, they're invading your privacy, so you wouldn't be in trouble for that. They would be in trouble for trespassing and so forth. They couldn't really stick you with it. However, if they could easily see you, let's say you have the door open and there's kids out there playing on the sidewalk and they can see you, yes, that's a problem. And you'll get in trouble for that. You can also develop a criminal record for this, so it's something really serious. You don't want this coming up every time you get a job, and or try to apply to get a job. This would be really bad. So do pay attention to it, but keep these things in mind. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next presentation.